My video for June the 2nd, 2019 is video number 3104. The title is, Yes, Money Has Long Been a Trap for Mankind. I'm sure my friend and hundreds more who have plans for humanitarian projects are once again saddened that the currency revaluation is stalled again and again and again. It's been happening for decades, as I've said. But another friend says money is still the main means of enslavement that has been going on for millennia. We have been brainwashed to think that money will in some way enable us to break free from the invisible chains that bind us to the masters of manipulation. Call them the elite or whatever. They accumulate more and more, while the majority of us keep suffering with less and less. It's a vicious cycle. As I see it, even the currency revaluation will only be of human value if the use of money becomes obsolete in the next decade. Otherwise, we will merely have another elite class created. Nothing will really change unless there is a huge accompanying change in human consciousness. It's been a very frustrating day for me. I'm going to start right off there. This is, again, very late in the day for me to be recording, but I was working on my computer all morning and into the afternoon hours, trying to get a new hard drive installed, and the continuation of that will happen tomorrow, late morning and early afternoon. Hopefully we'll be able to get it completed. But as of this time when I'm recording this at going on 7:30 in the evening, it still has not been able to put the new hard drive in the computer that's having so many issues for several months now. And I do very much appreciate my friend from England who has been so kind and so patient to continue to help me with that. But as I said in the blurb, there's a lot of people that have been waiting for the farm claims and all sorts of other St. Germain Trust and all sorts of other money into the hands of ordinary people. If you don't realize it, especially in the United States and the Western world, there has been a trickling up effect. Now it's supposed to be, they tell us it's supposed to be trickling down. Well, it's a very slow trickle. And there's an updraft that's been taking the wealth to a smaller and smaller group of people called the elite. Now, I did make a mistake in yesterday's video when I said there's 1,700 sealed indictments. I should have said 17,000. Big difference, just add another zero. But in any case, the people that have been running the money game for a very long time have enslaved us with it. Again, for those of you that may not remember, initially the slaves were chained and forced to work, and they didn't work very hard. But then one of the slave masters went undercover and went in as if he was a slave and wanted to hear what the slaves were thinking, and they were planning to break out and get away. And there was, of course, a mutiny, and he informed them, then he went back and all of the slaves were told, we've decided to let you all be free. They took the bonds off, they let them free, and they started paying them. Money became the means of enslavement. Nothing changed. They still did the same work they were doing before. It's just now that they were getting paid money to do it. So money is and has long been a means of entrapment. Now, is that story that I just told true? I don't know if it is or not. It's something that I've read. It makes sense to me. It may make sense to other people. It may not make sense to others. In any case, one thing that does make sense is that in our generation, right now, today, in the 21st century and latter part of the 20th century, since the Second World War anyway, even longer than that actually, since the 18th century, but be that as it may, we have seen the devaluation of the US dollar. First, it was had to be backed by gold. and then it had to be backed by silver, and then under illustrious President Richard Nixon, it was backed by nothing but the faith and promise of the US government, which is a mind control system run by people that supposedly have sealed indictments, many of them, and are going to end up having military tribunals for treason. And actually, there's a death penalty for treason. At the very least, they need to be life imprisoned, or if there's true repentance, and how do you determine that? I mean, a lot of people, when they're pressed up against the wall, will say whatever they need to say to make their life easier. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. But this I do know, that we are in a cycle that seems insane to those of us that are paying attention, to those of us that get alternative news and don't listen to CNN and ABC and all of the mainstream television channels. Even Fox is at best a mixture. They are the oppositional channel, if you will. And so they allow a little bit different slant on some of the news that they broadcast and some of the commentaries that they have on their program. Nevertheless, as I said in the blurb, if we put money into the hands, if everything turns around and all of these people are arrested and Trump drains the swamp as promised, and some say he is the swamp. I know all that. If that were to actually happen, there could be a real shift in human consciousness if it coincides with a spiritual awakening. The spiritual awakening is the key, though, because what has to change is our mind and our heart, and we have to let the two work in combination with each other so that we can have a new paradigm, if you will, a paradigm of listening, a paradigm of love, a paradigm of enlightenment, a paradigm where we actually become more free so that we can ultimately become really free. I don't know that the transition from the dark age to the golden age, Kali Yuga, to what's the other one? I forgot. Even the golden age one is not Kali Yuga. We've been in Kali Yuga. Anyway, folks, there's a transition said to be happening. Some say it's going to be another 1,000 years, as I said recently in another video. Whatever the case may be, there seem to be more people awakening a little bit than ever before because of the internet. And I still don't know why Google is showing a warning thing and saying that my video cannot be posted unless I make it public, and it is public, and it's been going up public, but for 4 videos in a row, there's been a warning sign, so to speak. So I don't know what all that means, but this I do know, that I live with the hope and the expectation that there will be a transitional period where people like myself, visionaries like me, are enriched and empowered to be able to rise up and spread the truth and spread humanitarian projects so that all people, especially the ones that have been most impoverished, are uplifted tremendously, and everyone gets uplifted, and the playing field gets leveled, and those that have been holding all the money get to pay for the crime of stealing from everybody else, because that's really what they're doing. So anyway, that's my video for this evening, and it'll go up, of course, tomorrow. And hopefully a little after midnight, between midnight and 1 o'clock, or whenever I wake up after midnight, that's when I will make this video go live. And I thank you for listening, and namaste.